5 things you should know or how you can use in legal research from govtrack.us in only 5 minutes. Number 1. How can I find out who is my member of Congress, or how can I search for a specific member of Congress from my state? And I just so happen to live in a state where they're like a ton of congresspersons, such as California. And I'm also looking for the congressman with the highest forehead and most jutting chin. Well, ladies and gentlemen, govtrack.us makes this task short work. Here's how we do it. Number 1, select from the ribbon banner at the top, Congress. Select Members of Congress from the drop-down menu. Then use the toolbar to select a state to list all senators and representatives from that state. In our example, we will use California. From here, let's click on Representatives, because we only have 2 senators, but over 50 representatives. Now, let's start our search for the congressperson with the highest forehead and most jutting chin. Winner, Stephen Knight. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Representative Stephen Knight is California's 25th District Representative, with his high forehead, jutting chin, and just winning personality. So besides trying to figure out who your congressperson is, govtrack.us can answer other questions as well. For example, number 2, how can I find out how my member of Congress votes, or what legislation my Congress member is sponsoring? Let's use Stephen Knight as an example. Continuing on Representative Knight's page, we can scroll down to Voting Record. Here, the most recent legislation that Representative Knight voted on is highlighted, such as House Resolution 2146, Defending Public Safety Employees Retirement Act. We can select the hyperlink for HR 2146 and actually go on to read the text of the resolution. The first page that we find actually gives us details and an overview of how the House actually voted on House Resolution 2146, including these little neat infograms that we have down here. But dialing in, what we want to find is the actual text of the resolution. So we click here, and it opens up the original resolution itself, including information about the bill, the sponsor and status, and the text of the resolution itself. Fantastico! Now we know how to look for a congressperson within a state. We know how to find any recent legislation or bills that they've been working on. But how do we figure out what committees Congress members actually sit on and what they're up to? Number 3, finding committees. As we know, committees decide which bills and resolutions move forward to consideration by both the House and the Senate as a whole. Therefore, committee chairs have enormous influence over this entire process. And figuring out which Congress members are chairs of committees is a pretty important legal research task. So, to do so, and to see what committees are upcoming, here's what we do. We go up to the Congress ribbon at the top, we come down to the committee section. From here we see a whole list of all the different Senate and House committees. But let's specifically see which committees are meeting in the upcoming days in April, specifically April 13th. We have April 9th, 10th, 11th, and way down at the bottom, we have April 13th. As we can see, this is the normal calendar. At 11 a.m., we have the House Committee on Appropriations Subcommittee for Homeland Security. From here, we see that Representative John Carter, a Republican from the Texas 31st District, is the chair of this committee. Now on to my favorite feature, number 4! How can I see a list, a literal database, of all the letters of censure, the letters of reprimand, etc., from 1789 to the present? Trackgov.us, that's how, mother tracker. This website has databases of all congressional misconduct. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. All the dirty bribery and corruption, sexual harassment, and other crimes. To access this database is only 2 quick clicks away from the home page. First of all, we go up to Congress in the ribbon, and then down to Congressional Misconduct. This page lists 383 instances of misconduct dating all the way back to 1789. We're going to use the filter of bribery and corruption and then circle down to around the early 2000s to find our first giant scumbag. And there he is, ladies and gentlemen, Rep. Randall Duke Cunningham, the Duke himself. The Duke resigned from the House on November 28, 2005 after pleading guilty to accepting at least $2.4 million in bribes and underreporting his taxable income in 2004. You'll see that he did some time in jail. By clicking on the Duke, we can see more about him. We can look at all the legislation that he has sponsored over his years prior to his censure and unseatment. And that's about it. Other famous cases involve Representative Anthony Weiner, who, sexted. He did some sexting things. Gadoosh. The point is, you can dial in to see all about the congressperson who had the violation, see what the alleged misconduct was, what took place from that conduct. For example, Mr. Weiner did 21 months. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've done a few tasks today. We figured out how to identify who our congressperson is based on state, what committees they sit on, what legislation they have sponsored, and what bills they've brought forth, and whether or not they've been in trouble before. However, the real meat and potatoes of govtrack.us is simply tracking bills and having alerts sent to you when the legislation has been changed. So, without further ado, number 5! Actually tracking of bills with govtrack.us. To do this, first and foremost, we go up to track on the ribbon, start tracking. From here, we can either track by members of Congress, by bills themselves, or by voting records. The easiest way to do this is to figure out which congressperson you want to track and what bills they want to. From here, we can go back to South Dakota, for example. Bring up Senator John Thune. And from here, we can actually get email alerts for every single time John Thune has any sort of legislation that has changed, that is introduced, that he co-sponsors, or any media appearances that he might have. So all we do is click on Get Alerts, sign up. You can sign up using your Facebook account, Google account, or Twitter, and you will actually get alerts the second that govtrack.us has any updates. Well, ladies and gentlemen, those have been my 5 things, my 5 awesome possum neato experiences with my time with govtrack.us. If you have any questions, which you probably do, hold them, ask me another time, because I'm done.